Hey there, everybody. This is the Bones and Tub Show. We are brought to you by no one in particular, because advertisements suck.
Yeah, they do.
We are brought to you, however, by Catherine, Marie Doherty, Evelyn, and Agris Girl, our 3 patrons at patreon.com/Bones and Tubs. And we don't have, anything else. We're not trying to sell you a mattress. We're not trying to tell you anything about beard oil or...
No special food boxes or anything like that.
No.
We're brought to you, just like PBS, by viewers like you.
And this is the Bones and Tub Show.
The Bones and Tub Show.
And sets another day. Billions will kneel and pray. Anything to aid escape from the world so cold.
And we're back with another episode of Bones and Tubs this week. Here to talk to you about all the things that make you go, oh, fuck.
Or, ooh.
But yeah, we got a few things we're going to talk to you about this week.
I don't know if you're like me, but the only thing that gets me through the week is this podcast. I'm sitting in my particular area of expertise.
Yeah.
In the factory of sadness and staring at the worst of humanity.
Yeah.
As it just unfolds upon itself. And I'm thinking, there's only really 2 options. One, which can I give the spoiler alert?
Yeah, go ahead.
Or a spoiler.
Yeah.
From your newest writing.
Yeah.
That stuck in my head when you showed that to me. So now that's my automatic go-to when I'm having a rough time.
Yeah.
But my 2 options are think of things and Google them for the Bones and Tubs podcast. Or find out what gun oil tastes like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good line from my latest work.
It was a great line.
Came from the depths of my inner self. This week, talk about a couple things. I mean, I guess in the time we did the last show, just to keep up, the memo.
The FISA
memo was released. And the thing is I don't really want to talk about that long because in all reality, it didn't shock me nor reveal anything I didn't know already.
Right. I think it might help in the way of maybe routing out some more of that so-called swamp they talk about.
Does it feel weird that, and I do have to agree with conservatives on this, that the more that they try to find a collusion between Trump and Russia, they continue to just reveal things about the nature of their own party?
Right. I'd like to say this. This is just a private thought that I've had with the various chemicals I use, but what if everything they've said about Trump is true, right? What if there is deep collusion with Russia?
What if he liked being peed on?
What if he loved getting peed on by Russian prostitutes? Mm-hmm. And he's a Russian plant, but the reason why they can't get it is because he's such a fucking madman that every time he just shows them he's the ultimate political judo.
I don't know. I mean, it's hard saying, but I don't think...
to picture him as a satyr, just dancing around.
Mm-hmm. Just a man of chaos.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't really surprised by that at all. It didn't, send shockwaves through my psyche to know that the fucking FBI was colluding.
Right.
More or less.
I read something yesterday, I think it was on Sage Wanderer's YouTube page, where he does his, little daily vlog thing.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how he believes that there's some type of collusion. There was a deal that gets set up with the incoming presidents and the FBI. That they've got some deep thing going on that's about to make light. And that's why they were so hardcore with Hillary. 2 stories that really got my nipples in a twist and excitement on Drudge Report. Did you see any of them from today? Mm-mm. New FBI texts show Obama wanted updates on Clinton investigation.
Even though he said he wanted nothing to do with it.
Right. So
once again, not surprised.
Clearly watching it, and I wondered if this is just gonna... Do you think it'll ever fall down on their fucking heads?
Probably not.
I hope so, though.
I mean, it's whatever, but...
And the other one was Homeland tackles deep state. So it's they keep... I don't know.
Yeah.
I hope that Trump is actually the Leviathan people person.
You mean the actual Leviathan? Like the demon himself?
Well, isn't the Leviathan the sea creature?
Yeah.
So I picture him... Let's just say Cthulhu. I picture Cthulhu with Trump's face,
Oh, man.
And all this shit's going on under the sea, right? We can't see it, but then occasionally you just see, like, the hair float up over top. But he's about to wreck that pussy.
Yeah.
Pussy being the deep state.
Yeah. The Cthulhu Trump. If that could be a thing on our advertisement this week for this episode, I'd make me very happy.
I can make it happen.
I'm sure it exists already.
All I have to do is find a Cthulhu in a Trump transparent picture.
There's somebody somewhere with a septum piercing that has made a picture of Trump as Cthulhu.
In their parents' basement.
I'll make that prediction right here, right now on the show.
You've proven your psychic abilities in the past, so I already know it's there.
Triggered. But I think one of the biggest things I want to talk about this week that's affecting mankind. Oh, wait, no, I mean people kind.
Yeah, speaking of trigger warning.
Wait, hold on. Whoa, I am so fucking sorry. Whoa.
I'm done with you.
Whoa. Whoa. I triggered myself on that one. I almost threw a fucking chair through the wall. No, but
our neighbor to the north, man.
Woo, man.
Shh.
You know, you imagine if he tried to pull that shit and, well, I don't know, I guess in a certain audience, he might fucking get that shit off the ground. But in just a mixed audience of people, there wouldn't have been that much clapping.
Right. And then the whole bus stood up and clapped.
Yeah. And of course, I'm making reference to the fact that earlier this week, Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, the Minister of Canada, he was at some sort of forum, and a woman was asking him a question, and she was talking about maternal love and all this stuff, and said something about mankind, and he stopped her. Fucking mid-question. To say, actually, I prefer people kind. People kind.
I'd also prefer it if you shut the fuck up. Maybe did some squats.
I don't know if I could actually...
Got your test up.
I don't know if the fucking audio would even play on the microphone here. I'm going to try it, though. So all of you out there, if you haven't heard it, I'm going to turn the speakers up all the way, so it's going to sound juicy.
And if you don't hear it, it's because you got axed.
Okay, let's see. I'm going to go back. I'm going to listen to it for yourself, so I don't have to tell the story and fuck it up.
ShoestringBudgetPodcast.com.
All right, here we go.
Is the love that's going to change the future of mankind. So we'd like you to...
We'd like to say people kind.
Oh, got her.
More
inclusive.
Got her. Inclusive. We wouldn't want to leave any fucking person out.
And the cheering from the crowd.
And
Christ on his throne.
The bus stood up and clapped.
And they're all laughing. Fucking Canadians, man. Jesus
Christ. Suck my American dick.
Like, okay. I don't understand. Like, okay. All right. I'm to the point in my life now where I've no longer understand, like, okay, I get why you think this would be something that should be, like, done. But the problem is that apparently metaphor and all of that just go beyond these people. So, like, okay, it's like the term mankind. When you hear mankind, do you think exclusively of men?
No, I don't. I think of humanity.
Exactly, because that's what I always use it in
context.
It's
a time-tested term that includes
it's just
everyone.
A fucking word.
It is inclusive. It includes everybody. Everyone.
And as far as I'm concerned, it is never not included like when you, in reference to like, when you're talking about the royal version of man, when you say man, you're talking about humanity itself.
Humanity. Triggered.
Yeah.
See? Gotta get rid of the words. It's Newspeak. We're living through Newspeak right now, all you 1984 fans out there. George Orwell was smoking that good because he could see in the future. His pineal gland was all the way on fleek, and that third eye was open AF.
Yeah.
He saw 2018.
In the fucking...
And he fucking knew.
Yeah.
He knew.
So, like... I guess, like, the notion of, like, what is it really, like, has anyone used mankind in the context that it just refer to actual men?
I don't know.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody...
I see some fucking astute Englishmen like, mankind, not those women or those homosexuals,
like,
but mankind.
Do you really think... Yeah, do you think, like when Neil Armstrong stepped off... Well... Ooh, hold on now. When he stepped off the fake moon landing set and fucking said his little phrase so everyone could hear it... Do you really think he was only referencing men when he said...
One small step for man? Or what?
One giant leap for mankind.
One giant leap for all white heterosexual cisgender.
That's what he
men.
meant.
Yeah.
So I guess we have to go back to the entire context of fucking history, and we have to like fucking edit it. I saw something like this a week ago or two too. Had to do with the VA, where I guess the motto of the VA has been a quote from Abraham Lincoln. No, fucking it was a motto that Abraham Lincoln. It was from a speech that he had done, and that's been their motto for a long time.
I'm about to trigger you.
And I'm going to pull up the motto. Okay, do you want to know what the motto is?
Go ahead.
And it's triggering people. To care for him who shall have borne the battle, and for his widow and his orphan. Okay, people want it changed because it only references the fact that men go to battle.
Listen,
when in reality, there's women go to battle and all that now.
Let's not forget that it's 2018, and we we only bring these things to you because we're about to be the audio version of the ISIS beheading video.
Like,
fucking behead this stupid ass ideology.
Like, here's the thing. One thing, it would be different if it was done different in practice, so that the VA only catered to men. But the last I checked, that the VA doesn't only cater to men.
Right.
So in practice, this doesn't work because it's already doing. God damn it! Can we have one thing?
No.
Can we have one goddamn thing?
No. You showed me that. Just to show you where you're headed, the Coke. I didn't watch the Super Bowl, but we were in the Factory of Sadness the other day, and I went into the Office of Counting, where Mr. Tubbs was, and he showed me a preview of the new Coke commercial that included, what was it? Everyone but a white man.
No, there's white men in it. There's like one.
But I bet he was
He looked.
I don't know how to say it.
Let's say. Oh, no, I'll say it in a good way that doesn't offend anybody.
Right.
He looked non-threatening.
Right. Yeah, he was.
Because if I was in that commercial, somebody would have fucking miscarried and somebody would have threw up.
They should have put me in there after my random 3-month bodybuilding that I do every year with my ISIS beard.
They couldn't put me in a commercial. They'd have to put a warning at the beginning.
Warning.
Trigger warning. Warning. May cause miscarriages, nosebleeds, and
autoerotic squirting.
Yeah, and IBS.
Yeah.
And erectile dysfunction.
Right.
Throw that in there for good mix. Nah, but...
I got another quote from Ms. Trudeau that I'd like to share.
Oh, man.
I'm just kind of surprised. Like, I understand why that one made the news the way it did. But a year ago, there was a post that he made right around the time that picture of Putin came out where he was, like, fly fishing with no shirt on, wearing the cross. Mm-hmm. And Justin Trudeau claims he could probably take Vladimir Putin in a fight. If you go to the Facebook page for Bones and Tubbs, you'll see a little double post I just made called The Canadian Cuck.
Yeah.
And it's got his little sissy ass wearing boxing shorts with a non-threatening face and his little luscious little curly little locks.
Yeah.
I would listen. I would love nothing more. I would probably give 4 of my fingers and 3 of my toes and let you cut out more of my belly button.
Okay.
Just to let me see a fight between those two.
Oh, my God.
Please.
Dude, Vladimir Putin would fucking... I'm sorry.
God.
I'm not like some sort of fucking Russian sympathizer here, but I know...
I'm not either.
I know Vladimir Putin's past.
I know hard when I see it. No
Motherfucker
homo.
was a KGB agent.
Listen... He's killed people.
Yes.
He's killed a lot of people. And
I can take him in a fight. That dude has seen the life leave somebody's eyes before.
He probably has seen it so many times that it's boring to him now.
We look at his face. Everything else in life is boring.
Right.
That might be the only time you actually see his face light up is when he kills somebody.
The sun explodes, okay? And right before we get that final flash, before everything goes into darkness, he might smile a little. That'd be the only thing he's never seen.
Dude, like, okay, so just to put it in context.
Shut the fuck up.
How crazy this motherfucker is. So, his daughter was dating some, like, billionaire mogul from Russia, right? And he dumped her for some fucking, like, underwear model.
Yeah.
So, he had his ass deported.
You think that was a good idea?
He had his ass deported, and he stripped his company.
Yeah.
He left that dude destitute.
Man.
And they weren't even married. They were just dating.
That's like a macro version of what happens in America when somebody like is doing okay, and they're like, you know what? I'm gonna leave my wife for some nurse that I just met.
Yeah.
Right. And then you accept the fact that your income's about to get slashed. You know, you're about to move into a 1-bedroom studio apartment.
Yeah.
You know, you accept those things.
Yeah.
That's a large version. Like that guy was like, you know what? Fuck my company. Fuck my Russian citizenship.
A multi-billion-dollar company.
Jesus Christ.
Stripped away from him and his fucking citizenship revoked.
It is mine now.
Yeah.
I wish I could do a good Vladimir Putin.
I
I tell you, I went a number of years looking at his face. In my mind, my subconscious and my upper mind made a voice for him. And when I heard his real voice, I laughed.
Oh yeah, he's a little bit softer touch.
I'm so much glad,
but that's the thing though.
So much more glad that I heard it. That way, if I ever run into him, because I'd laugh in his face.
Well, see,
I don't want to do that.
No, you don't want to let you know.
No,
because you don't. If you heard some big burly voice come up from behind you, you would turn around instantly and try to defend yourself. But if you just hear a soft spoken, he just says your name, and you're like, you don't even turn around. You're just like,
who are you?
And then all of a sudden the garrote's around your neck, and he's halfway done sawing through your neck.
Right, and he has no expression whatsoever.
No.
Listen, Justin Trudeau, if you ever hear this, I pray that you fight him.
Pray for Justin Trudeau.
I'd let him fight Obama. I bet Obama would tear that ass up.
What?
Justin Trudeau?
Oh yeah.
That'd end up in a not safe for work video, though. I'm sure those guys would get in the same room without shirts on, and they would end up fucking sliding
it makes me think
away.
Of what's that movie? Bruno.
Yeah.
No, but oh god, it kills me, man. Like, why? Okay, first of all, I'm not gonna. Someone pointed it out though. From the SJW side, and I love when the left eats itself, so I have to point it out. But someone said that what he did with the whole people kind thing was mansplaining.
Shut the fuck up, man.
No.
The whole thing.
No, you encourage that shit. You gotta encourage that shit. You're like, yeah.
It's weird.
You were mansplaining, bitch.
Listen, I'm going through a period of change, as I always am, right? I'm trying to become that beautiful butterfly. Mm-hmm. And it's like I'm reprogramming. I talked to Brother Rap this morning, and he said it's not reprogramming, it's reformatting. So I'm reformatting my innermost workings. Yeah. But I still can't stop getting triggered by things. You know? Yeah. It's like I just want it all to stop. But I should. You're right. I should love the troll factor.
The only difference between you getting triggered and an SJW getting triggered is an SJW apparently can't even get out of bed the next day after being triggered.
Yeah.
They have to take off work and shit. You still go to work, you pay your bills, you take care of your jobs. You take care of baby bones.
Yeah.
You do all these things. You ensure that your house is in order.
I just try to. I don't know. I'm trying to find the proper work-life balance or normie troll balance. You know, I'm just trying to even it out.
I see what you mean.
While I want to explain it that it's mansplaining because that, like you said, it's the left eating itself. Just hearing that term, I'm like, oh yeah, I go into full autistic mode.
Right into autistic screeching. But that's the thing, though. You have to make yourself immune to all of those things. Yeah, it's like we talked about, not the last episode, the episode before that, where you talk about how you just have to make yourself anybody that has trouble being with anything that they hear this people kind shit and all that stuff. This is what you do. You have to. It's just I hate talking about it, but it's like vaccination.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm talking about old school vaccination.
Real. Without the thimerosal.
You take what makes you sick and you give yourself a little bit, right?
Boost the immunity.
So I've been telling you this for a while now. You need to do some Tumblr action.
I've been trying, man. It's like I can't. It's almost like trying to have a conversation in a foreign country. Like you transport me to France, but you want me to ask where.
But the thing is, you can control if you're putting yourself in that spot. You control how much of the content you want to see at a time. So in reality, every time I do it, I'm vaccinating myself from it later on, so that I don't have to fucking endure it. So that when someone says mansplaining, it doesn't do anything to me anymore. When someone says misogynistic, it does zero to me. Right. Because that's the thing. Their definition of it is different than mine. Mm. Yes, there are misogynists. I know misogynists. Yeah. Those are legit. I know people who are racist, legitimately, on both sides. Because you know what? As far as I'm concerned, the whole racism is bigotry or discrimination or bigotry plus power, right?
Yeah, right. Okay.
That's out the door because the whole power structure is gone. It's being rewritten, so you can't really use the whole power thing as an excuse anymore. It's just bigotry. Racism and bigotry, as far as I'm concerned, are the same fucking thing. You can't, if you want to take it to the next level and say that, racism is institutional. No, because that's institutional racism.
Right.
There's a difference. And the thing is, as far as I'm concerned, in all reality, is there still institutional racism in this country?
I mean,
like, here's the thing. There is, like, I mean, we're two ANCAPs sitting here, and we're talking about the fact there is law.
See, but listen. I think you'll understand this.
But has the law been targeted and written in a way to?
It's not the same as it used to be. It's reversed now.
Do you think it's? I don't think it's reversed.
No, it is. Like, you think about it this way. Think about a place that you could go to work where everyone that makes the hiring decision is like, well, you know. Then they joke about the person that comes in for the interview, but they're like, we need another black in this position.
What's that thing?
Some places you could think of are like, listen, the next supervisor has got to be a black female.
So what you're saying is we need to move back to being a meritocracy.
We need to just get rid of,
like, the notion that you're being promoted not because of anything any label that's been that makes you, but simply because your work is better than the other person that wants the job.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? That makes sense to me.
Right. But
well, then, that's the thing, though. How would that undiversify in this perfect world where everybody has this logically, and this is by the left's logic, everybody had the same amount of potential. Okay, how would that not still, like, in and of itself, create a diverse
on paper?
Workforce?
It might not.
If everybody's playing by those rules of picking the best person for the job, how is that?
See, but now we've at least identified where we're at. That's part of the problem.
Yeah.
You must first admit you have a problem.
Well, then someone brings up the whole stupid ass. I always thought it was stupid. The arguing about the goldfish climbing the tree.
Right?
Have you ever heard that before?
Yeah.
Okay, but here's the thing about that. Okay, in a certain context, that whole argument makes sense.
Right.
Right. Play to your strengths. Right. You wouldn't, and this goes back to Albert Einstein because I think he's the one that said it. You wouldn't ask a goldfish to climb a tree.
No.
You know what I mean? In a tree climbing contest, it would always end up last.
Yeah, right.
So the whole moral of the story is play to your strength.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But the problem is that there's certain, like, fields that you go into where you need certain strengths. So that's the thing. If you're really good at one thing, just to fill, like, some sort of ethnic gap, you shouldn't be, like, pushing people into a profession they necessarily aren't good at.
Right, but if you don't do it, then you're racist.
But no, this goes back to playing to your strength.
I'm also putting it in the context of modern day conversation. Because if you don't have if your workplace or your life doesn't look like the new Coke commercial, you are a racist, bigot, ableist.
But, well, here's the other, you got to take into context geography and stuff too.
You do, but I'm just saying, listen, we both know. And everyone's listening knows. Right? But it's just not been adopted on a global scale.
See, and this is the thing, like...
We need to get rid of the cuck mentality.
I like to think like a mentat, right?
Mm.
So I employ statistical knowledge, logic, and good rhetoric when it comes to my argument, right?
Right.
I don't factor in. At most times I refuse to factor in emotion into it. There's only a few things where I'll argue something and I'm emotional about it because I'm emotionally invested in something. Otherwise, I'm always just sitting logical. I don't. Oh man,
So you don't get involved in, like, emotional arguments about female genital mutilation?
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, you're talking about morals now.
Factory of sadness.
But that's the thing. Morals are something that you've decided upon what's good and what's bad.
Right.
And you could still use logic to come to the conclusion that FGM is fucking horrible.
Mm.
I mean, that's all there is to it.
Right, there's
You're
nothing...
You're mutilating these women.
It's similar to the argument that no one can ever explain away or legitimize slavery. You know what I mean? They're all the same. They're all... You're wrong. It's universal truth. You can't mutilate someone else's genitals. You can't enslave another person. These things we agree. Whether we agree or not, it's universal law that it's wrong. You have no right...
To own another person.
You
have no right to take away somebody's ability to get pleasure from sex.
Right.
Like, that's the thing. Like, they do this to children. Okay? So this goes back to my whole argument that I've talked to other people about before, where technically, as far as I'm concerned, the only crimes that can be committed involve consent.
Yeah.
Any other thing that doesn't involve consent, it's about taking someone's consent away. Okay?
Right.
So FGM, wrong, because they're a child. They have no ability to consent. And two, you're taking away you're taking something from them that they could not get back that will affect the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Before they can make a decision on it. You know what I mean? These aren't grown women deciding to have their clitoris and their labia minora cut off and their vagina sewed shut. These are children.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not. You're not really a person, supposedly, according to the newest science. You're not an actual fully functioning person until what, like 23 or 25, when your final brain transition is...
So we've decided to allow science to decide when we become people.
Well, I mean, they don't even consider it that way. They're just like, well, let's get them while they're young. You know what I mean?
Listen, anybody listening out there, if you're under the age of 18, doesn't matter. You're under the age of 18. You have, even if you don't have the right to vote, you still have bodily autonomy.
Right.
Okay? You still have the right to say no to something.
No!
Okay? And that goes back to my original argument. All crime, real crime, I'm not saying what's on the books, because that's different, involves consent.
Yeah.
Or the lack thereof.
Right.
Any other supposed crime, according to our local, state, and federal government, to me, should be annulled.
Let's consider this. This is one of the rabbit holes I've been traveling down this week. Trying to learn about natural law, right?
Yeah.
Laws that are inherent, that the universe actually has in play.
Yeah.
That, regardless of what you think or like, morality is not subjective. Truth is not subjective. It is what it is, as they say. Mm-hmm. Natural law, based upon principles and truth inherent to creation. Man's law, based upon dogmatic beliefs, constructs of the mind. Natural law, harmonized with, due to knowledge and understanding. Man's law, complied with, due to fear of punishment. Natural law, universal, exists and applies anywhere in the universe, regardless of location. Man's law, differs with location based upon the whim of the legislators. Moral relativism. And lastly, eternal and immutable, exists and applies for as long as the universe exists and cannot be changed. Man's law, changes the time based upon the whim of the legislators. Moral relativism.
Okay.
Basically, we're in a system, the one that we podcastically screech at all the time, the one that we want to kill with 2018. We're in a system of moral relativism and social Darwinism.
Yeah.
I think that's what the problem is. All of our entire society is built on the fact that it's ran by, regardless of party, it's social Darwinism, right?
Yeah.
They've reached this pinnacle of money, therefore they feel some level of superiority. Right?
Yeah.
They know how to live, they will know how to lead, we just accept.
Well, that's the thing, but that has to be, if you're talking about the difference between natural law and what you were talking about, the whole notion that wealth equals, authority and respect,
right,
has gone back for. Has there ever been a time when that wasn't a factor?
No, and I just have this recurring thought that people always want to use that argument. When has it worked? When has it ever happened? It never has happened. Hmm. It's just like the communism argument. Well, they never did it right. No, communism will always fail. Yeah. Because it's completely against natural law. Yeah. You're taking away autonomy. It's a collectivism system, right? Yeah. So it's like what we need to realize at a certain point that it's time to just go with natural law. Right? Because everything we've been doing, look at the history of everything that we have, It's fucked.
We're truly awful.
We are truly... I said it in the last podcast, I think, or the one before that maybe, but it's like we are barely better than apes. I include myself in that, and I'm on the course to make myself a better person.
And in some ways, their culture is almost better than ours, simply because, for the most part, they live in harmony.
Right. It's interesting, too. It's special. It's like I was looking at some of the different, hierarchies in these, the animal kingdom. Yeah. The chimpanzees, we mirror them. They're supposedly our closest relative.
One of our closest relatives, yeah.
Right. But then you look at, bonobos, where they have a matriarchal society. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting that, all these different animals have their own...
Well, see, the thing is...
The thing that works for them.
Well, that's the thing, and I would cite this, it's not to say that mankind hasn't abided by matriarchal societies in the past. We have. The Greeks did it for a while. Right. It's reflected in their history. Yeah. and I'm not saying anything against it whatsoever.
Right.
I mean, in more recent history, we're talking about closer to the modern era, we've had female rulers.
Yeah.
And it definitively didn't go, like, it didn't, I mean, that's the thing. This goes back to my whole statistics, logical facts, things like that, right? There is no, to me, like, whether we're under a female ruler or a male ruler, to me, I don't think there's been a definitive aspect that was greater or better than one or the other.
It all goes to law, right?
And if you want to know truthfully, I thought for a second I wasn't going to say this because I didn't want to fucking raise the hair on some backs. But they've actually shown before that when women like queens and other prime ministers and whatnot have been in charge, they actually found that these countries spent more time at war than their male counterparts.
Yeah. Based on a 28-day cycle, or what do you mean?
No, like in general.
Oh,
like
sorry.
They were like, I think they cited Queen Victoria, Queen Elizabeth I, Catherine the Great, people like that, Margaret Thatcher.
Yeah.
And they all found that there's more wartime conflict. Now, here's the thing. You might ask yourself, is this a possibility because men see women as the weaker sex, and they simply to
project more masculinity?
Because it didn't say that they were necessarily the aggressor more,
right?
Simply that they were at war more.
Yeah.
So the question is it self-provoked war or there was an aggressor?
Defense.
It was defense, exactly.
So let me impart you with something, because we haven't talked about this yet.
Okay.
And anybody that's interested in this natural law thing, because that's what I'm going through, and I'm sharing it, and that's why we're here.
Yeah.
It's a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube, I'll even post it on the Bones and Tubs Facebook page, but it's an 8-hour presentation by Mark Passio, breaks down the law, the natural law. And he says something that it took me a minute to kind of understand.
Yeah.
But it mirrors the book I'm reading, that Master Key to Success. Mm-hmm. So in order for you to be a full sentient human being that's in tune with nature, natural law, that's the only way you can succeed at anything, right?
Yeah.
And he said there are 2 forms of government that you have to abide by in order for this to work in harmony. Mm-hmm. Monarchy and anarchism. Mm. Right? So those 2 things automatically clash.
Yeah.
And it's astounding to me that in 2018 we still have monarchies on this planet. But he doesn't use monarchy as an external form of government. You have to take control of your mind. You have to have an inner monarchy.
Yeah.
One ruler, right? That's what the etymology of the word means.
Yeah.
Monarchy.
Yeah.
One control. Yeah. You have to be the one that controls your thoughts.
Yeah.
If you have anybody else, which our society is obviously filled with mind control manipulation, because if you start doing some of these exercises in the book, Master Key to Success, or looking at any type of personal mastery, when you sit and monitor your thoughts in a quiet room, you realize most of your thoughts aren't yours. You don't create them. They come from outside.
Yeah. Exogenous
thoughts. So once you master the inner monarchy, the outer governmental system is anarchy. No ruler.
Yeah.
You are the ruler. No human being has the right to rule another human being.
Well, I think I talked about it on the show before where T.H. White postulates these concepts in The Once and Future King at the end in the Book of Merlin, where he talks about the fact that Merlin, and in effect T.H. White, believed that he showed Merlin all these different animal kingdoms and these different groups of animals and how they lived their lives.
And he transformed them into the animal.
He transformed the animals to show them how they lived and stuff. And the last lesson was he showed him 2 different systems. One was ants. He turned them into an ant.
Yeah.
And it was to show you the purest forms of objectivism and tyrannical control, authoritarianism with a queen.
It was like a communist thing?
More or less. Yeah. Because you had a queen dictating constantly in your head, telling you what to do. Right?
Right.
So constantly giving you orders.
Just real quick, The Once and Future King is all the books, right?
Yeah.
Because I've got a credit and I'm about to buy this motherfucker.
Okay. So.
Audible.
Nice, yeah, Audible. And then he turns him into a goose. And he basically, and I believe T.H. White and Merlin sided with this notion that we should live more like geese. And in that essence, he thought we should be anarchists.
Yeah.
He sought the notion that all conflict, all war, all things were based on the notion that one person owned something and the other person didn't.
Right.
He said in anarchy, he said, you've reduced these borders and everything to nothing. He said that the highest form of organization in an anarchy is the family.
Right.
He said the family is the most stable form.
It's the argument that borders stop where your domicile ends.
Yeah, exactly. Where he says that and the thing is even in that whole system, even in the family unit, he said ultimately you decide non-verbally who your leader is.
Right.
Just by action. You see who's going to be the one who leads the V formation.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the navigator. Right?
Right.
And he believed that the family unit was the most important unit in society.
Right.
And that in reality, if you simply have a strong family unit, that's all you need. You don't need any other governmental control beyond that. Because you can protect yourselves.
I really hope that everybody checks out those things, you included. I'll send you that thing again. But it's crazy to me, and I'm glad, thankful in a lot of ways to work where I'm at right now, because I have a lot of time for inner thought and reflection.
Yeah.
But think about this, the saying, as above, so below.
Yeah.
We've talked about it before. It's an occult truth. Occult just meaning hidden knowledge.
Yeah.
Nothing weird. It's one of those things I had to wash myself of. The mind control, when you hear the word occult, you automatically get that weird, ew.
No.
But it just means truth that is hidden. So you're in an experience right now that we all call life, right? Mm-hmm. And if you take away all the slavery, you take away all the mind control, and you just look at yourself as a sentient thing, you're here to experience life. Mm-hmm. That is your purpose. You come from whatever it is you want to call it. You were created for a purpose to absorb information, and you're a piece of the whole. You're like a drop out of the ocean. Mm-hmm. It's interesting to me that, the saying, as above, so below, it took on a different meaning when I read these things, because once you master the below, the subconscious, you create the external.
Yeah.
And it's like you have all these examples in front of you, in the Once and Future King. He uses, and we just talked about it earlier, the different animals, right?
Yeah.
They all have different systems that work for them perfectly, flawlessly, like a NPC.
Yeah, and the whole main thing was trying to find the perfect system for humanity. Yeah. Because he felt that in all reality we had never truly created our own perfect system of governance before. Right. That we have tried and tried and tried all these different combinations, and it has always failed. Right. And then the idea that you had a central leader or a central government, and then protected and dictated law derived down from them. Yeah. Right. And the problem is that in those situations they're trying to create a symbiotic relationship between people and a government, where they feed each other and they help each other. But the problem is that more often than not, even if those systems at least are beneficial to the two initially, they always will ultimately become a parasitic relationship.
Anytime you secede power of the individual to a greater body, they're going to turn you into a slave.
Yeah, with the government, i.e. the government being the parasitic organism. Yeah. That has outlived its use.
What's the saying? If men were angels, socialism would be the best, or something like that. Yeah. But men aren't angels. No. And it's funny, we look, that story, I can't wait to get into it tonight, but he gives you the examples of all the different animals and how their systems work. The one thing that makes sense to me now after reading all these things, if we keep going down this road of finding a better governmental system, it'll never work. Yeah. Because we're not animals. Natural law doesn't apply to animals the same way as it does human beings, because their level of consciousness isn't nearly what we have. No. The only way to operate and fully thrive in a system is anarchy. Yeah. It's the natural law. Look up natural law. Live by it.
No government, no control beyond the family unit.
Right. But it's heavy. We're hitting those deep truths.
Yeah. And speaking of which, I know we've been talking about for a while, but I know there was something else we kind of wanted to touch on that we've talked about many times before.
Preaching.
because we were talking about someone. Who was it? Somebody wanted us to talk about Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, it was Elmo.
Was it Elmo?
Elmo coming out of the darkness. It's been a while. He likes to go dark sometimes, where he's dealing with personal life issues, and then sometimes he comes at you with a shotgun blast of topic and truth.
Now, here's the thing, and I will admit this, and I hadn't mentioned it before, but I had seen something before. Like I said, I spent a lot of time culling. Yeah, here you go. Culling the Reddit and Tumblrs and whatnot, and there was and has been a conspiracy about the notion that Quentin Tarantino is himself a pedophile, a pedophile, if you enjoy Paul Joseph Watson.
Yeah.
A picture, and I might have to. I don't know if you've seen it, but one of the big pieces of evidence that I had seen, and that necessarily didn't convince me totally because it's hard to say, but someone had taken a picture that had Quentin Tarantino in it, and mind you, it was taken years ago. And you see him laying on a couch, and you simply see a pair of feet putting their feet on his face, right? And someone had analyzed this picture and measured the person's, what's that called below the knee? The bones below the knee.
Shin?
Well, like the shin bone and all that stuff, right? They had measured the length between the knee and the ankle, right? Yeah. And they had measured the distance between the knee and the thigh. And they came to the conclusion that the person who's, and mind you, this picture is, I would say, now this is one man's personal opinion, but it seems to be a slightly sexually charged photograph. Okay.
Like a dominance thing?
Hard to say dominance, more like he looks drunk, he looks fucked up, and he looks like he's enjoying the fact that he's sucking on somebody else's toes.
I need to Lysol this floor.
But,
God damn it.
So, he, someone took this picture and, they scaled it and measured, and they came to the determination that they believed, based on the scaling. Jesus Christ. That didn't break, did it?
No, it didn't. I'm sorry.
Came to the conclusion that this person in the photograph was not of legal age.
Okay.
Now, this is based on analytic information on growth rates, based on the person who was in the picture was believed to be someone of color, so they based it on statistical analysis of growth rates in certain ethnic groups.
What would one search to find this photo?
I would search Quentin Tarantino foot picture.
Foot picture?
Foot picture.
Okay.
Yes. And this, of course, is leading up to the fact that apparently he made an interview a couple years ago where he said that he defended the disgraced director Roman Polanski and said that the girl that he had sodomized and raped was down to party, quote unquote.
DTP?
So he was basically saying that this girl who Roman Polanski raped, was a willing participant in the events. Defending a rapist. A child rapist at that. And we were talking before the show about people who defend rapists and child rapists.
Yeah.
And defend the notion that they aren't becoming more prevalent members of our society. Here recently. Yeah, that's it.
Man, that's a fucking kid's foot.
Right? That's what they said. What if it's just a really small woman?
No, it's not. There's no fucking way. It's not even the size thing. It's just a general amount of size and length of leg. Like, that's a fucking kid.
It looks like a pubescent female's leg. I'll agree with that.
Man.
So,
I wonder if I could post this to the Bones and Tubs page without being called an alarmist.
Yeah. Well, see, okay, yeah, I want to talk about that a little bit too. And I mentioned this before the show. We had a little scuffle this week
with one of our dearest
big friends,
dearest loved friends.
And it wasn't really necessarily about the fact he wasn't defending pedophiles. I won't say that for a hot second, but he was defending his notion that he believed that the prevalence of pedophiles and pedosexuality in and of itself would never become mainstream. Defense of them, at the very least. Both of us cited examples, and I believe, at least to an extent, I managed to convince him of certain aspects of it. But he still stood the stance that he believed that it would never become mainstream.
Like it used to be. The history will never repeat itself.
And the thing is I loathe arguing on Facebook and comments. I hate writing huge comments because I mostly do it from my phone. And I hate typing little fucking words. So this is my fucking mouthpiece for my rebuttal to that whole argument. And the whole thing is that he believed that they would never get mainstream sympathy, more or less.
Yeah.
But the problem is that mainstream sympathy, as has been shown in the past, is something that can be bought. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the thing is look at the organizations that have covered up this kind of atrocity for some time. We're talking about one of the largest religious organizations in the world. We're talking about media empires defending them. So they already
organizations of power
by not even necessarily verbally defending them, by protecting them, you are consenting to what they are doing.
Yeah.
You have at the very least and best gotten sympathy from them. Right. And that's what scares me. And the thing is in our current climate, I feel like there are those who are more susceptible to feeling bad for the disenfranchised, right?
Right.
And don't get me wrong, there's reason for that. There's reason that people want to help those who they feel have been wronged by society. But the problem is where my sympathy for those smaller subgroups of society end is at pedophiles.
Right.
I will never have any sympathy for them. And I hope there's enough people out there to say the same. I've kind of dabbled around the notions that our friend talked about, that he argued with this whole argument. I feel where he's coming from to an extent, like that he thinks that we're a bit alarmist in our argument.
Right. But my view is that some things, like I've told you before, I've said it before on the show, and I'm not even sure that he is an active participant in the Bones and Tubs podcast, so he might not have heard this, but it's one of those things that you don't have to ever shy away from screaming at.
But yeah, and that's the thing, like,
because if you don't automatically just burn it with hatred and vitriol right out of the gate, you give it a chance to grow if it's a real plant.
Here's the thing. I would rather be an alarmist if it meant, and be angry about this, if it meant that I was still on the right side of history. Does that make sense?
Right.
Like, I don't want to, I never want to be, like, I hope that he's right. I hope that this idea that this will never be something that there will be mass sympathy for, that people will feel sorry for, and that goes out to rapists as well.
Right.
All sexual violence.
People that take that consent, though.
Yeah. I hope it stays that way. I hope and pray with him. I'm glad that he can sleep well at night knowing he thinks that that's never going to happen. But the thing is, even if he's right, I'm okay with being the one who is out there fucking screaming at the top of my lungs, no.
Fuck turning a blind eye to something that could be, fuck that.
Because that's the thing, like, if I have to be the one screaming, let me be the one screaming it out loud.
Yeah, call us the crazies.
Call me the crazies.
Call us the crazies, but fuck pedophilia.
Yeah.
You know?
Call me fucking insane if you want. Right. Call me an alarmist. Call me whatever you want. You know what? Go ahead and do whatever you want, because I don't care.
Let me share this real quick. I pulled this up from BBC. Have you ever heard of the organization called PI?
No.
Now, there was a video that was going around, and it was paid for by some political organization that most would consider mainstream in the UK, and it can't be found anymore. At least I can't find it. If anybody else can find this video, please send it to me in any of the channels that we have available. But there was a video on YouTube, I want to say 6 or 8 months ago, that had it's like an English, 40-something driving his car, and looks like he's been through the ringer. He just got off work, he's driving home. He pulls into his driveway, and this 30-year-old-ish dude walks out, and he's like putting his shirt on. He's like, we've all been there, right?
Yeah.
You're leaving a house when you're a teenager from your teenage girlfriend's place, and you're getting yourself together because you guys just got done doing the deed.
Yeah.
That's what this man's doing, right? Which in some circumstances would be understandable, but however, this guy is leaving this dude's house, And he just got done visiting his 11-year-old daughter-ish. You know, I'm using all these ages as liberally as possible. But she's definitely not an adult. And the end of this commercial says, this will become normal if we don't fight Pi. The Pi it's called the Pedophile Information Exchange. It was affiliated with the National Council for Civil Liberties, now Liberty, in the late 70s, early 80s. But now they have some other wings or tentacles of their Cthulhu that have reached into United Kingdom politics.
Yeah.
They're a political party. They're making anti-pedophile political videos in UK, which socially, normally, at least since the last couple of years, they used to be like a 6-month window into our future. Whatever happened over there socially was going to emerge.
I'm going to say this now because he kind of threw this ass from the get-go and tried to fucking diffuse. I love you. I love you.
I fucking love you.
I love you.
Yeah.
But Google that shit.
Right.
Boom. Fucking A. Hey, and by the way, to Mr. Otter, keep that shit on Tumblr where it fucking belongs.
Don't make me get a protection order.
Jesus fucking Christ. Don't make me put a restraining on her, you fucking creep.
Yeah.
I'll say that right fucking now.
Man.
Fuck you. I don't know why the fuck you're on our fucking page. I get it. It's a public forum.
I probably sent him an invite.
But that dumbass shit, keep it on fucking Tumblr where it belongs.
Yeah.
That's some stupid shit.
Man, it's just funny.
I'm sorry. I had to get that out there.
You got to get the hate out. I just don't want to be the one to purge. I just let them purge themselves. Fuck them, you know?
Fuck, man. I'm sorry. Like
I told you before.
I'm okay with being the crazy one in this situation. Call me an alarmist. I don't care. If there's one thing I'm going to be alarmed about, it's this.
I hope that we'll have that guy on soon.
Yeah.
You know, I feel weird. It's Ryan Simpson. You know, I love him. Love him to death. Yeah. And I don't know why, out of all the crazy shit, like we kind of come at it, we're like a conspiracy /
current
events, like outer fringe, break the traditional mold of your mind. Podcast, right?
You know, you gotta think of like the spin, like the media spin, right?
Right.
We're like the proverbial. We keep our we
did a show on cryptozoology, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. St. Catherine is our patron saint.
Right.
But we keep a picture of our real life deity on the fucking wall, and that's Daenerys Targaryen. And she's famous for saying she doesn't want to be a part of the wheel. She wants to break the fucking wheel.
Exactly.
And that's what we're about. And the wheel is the spin. We are stopping the spin. Yeah. This is the no spin zone.
Yeah, Bill O'Reilly, eat your fucking ass out.
Suck my balls, Bill O'Reilly. You're a fucking bitch.
I love that clip of him. I'm sure you've seen it.
Oh, yeah.
The one where they Fox News on his channel. I'm sure he resisted it for 6 to 8 months, maybe a year, longer than most Fox shows, but they all went to those teleprompters, and they finally pushed it on him. Anybody look up Bill O'Reilly Freak Out on YouTube, and you'll laugh if you've not seen it. But I love that B.O.B. used it in one of his newest songs.
Yeah.
But he's like, I can't read it. There's no words on it. He just loses his fucking mind. They're trying to tell him the script. He's like, that's tomorrow, and that's it for us today. And I can't read it. I can't. We'll do it live! Fuck it! I'll write it, we'll do it live! Fucking thing sucks! But fuck Bill O'Reilly.
Oh, man. I think that about wraps it up for us this week.
Mm-hmm. It's lunchtime.
I think we kind of, it's lunchtime. It's time for them wangs. You know, we've made it a tradition after the
wangs?
show. We go get some wangs.
We gonna get gay as fuck?
Wangs and shit.
Yeah. Wings or wangs?
Wangs.
Okay. Wangs.
Wangs and shit.
Going to the cock bar.
But, I think that, I don't know. I kind of like that. Maybe, I don't know. We got to come up with some sort of motto. Because I like that whole, like, the break the wheel thing.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't want to break the wheel. But I want to stop it from spinning.
I want it to quit existing.
Spin stoppers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Stops with us. The spin.
Anytime I hear spin, I automatically think of a magazine or Bill O'Reilly. We gotta look up some words that mean the same thing but aren't the same thing.
We'll come up with that. We'll brainstorm it. And by the way, just FYI, concerning our last topic involving pedophiles, even the whole Clover gender thing, it inspired me to write a story about it.
Yeah.
It's still in the infancy. I'm going to announce now that I'm going to, like, it'll be out by May.
Nice.
Do
you have a working title?
I did, and I hated it, but the muse came to me.
Okay.
Because I just had to kind of put a label on it so I could
Yeah.
file it away in
classify
the old brain file, right?
Yes.
the original the working title at the time was either iPedo or iPedophile.
Yeah.
But
iPad.
I changed it. I changed it because I didn't like that. I thought it was cliched.
Yeah.
So I changed it to Silent Angels.
Okay.
So
that's creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it.
But it'll be out in May. I can already tell you that now. There's another one coming out real soon, like probably in the next month. A novella.
Are these going on Amazon or?
Yeah, they'll be on Amazon. I have a working title for that, but for a long time that's been the title. But I've come to the point where I don't even know if I like that title. I might change it. But the working title is Sneeze.
Okay.
I showed you some of that.
Right. Yeah.
But that'll be out like soon.
What was your quote that you gave me from about the gun oil? Which one was that from?
Sneeze.
Okay. Part of my brain was trying to like wrap it into the pedophile story, and I was like, "Oh god damn!"
I like Sneeze because it's short, concise, and to the point.
Yeah.
And it involves. Anyways, I don't want to give too much away right now. But yeah, it should be out. I can't fathom it not being out in the next month.
Yeah. Get on it, motherfucker.
Yeah, and then Silent Tears will be out in May. It shouldn't take me more than a month to write it. Mind you, I haven't wrote it yet. I know what it's about.
Right.
Don't ask me.
Yeah. Get off my balls.
Yeah. Okay, so that ends the show this week.
Thank you for the topic, Elmo.
Yeah. Thank you guys for listening. I'd like to thank Ryan Simpson.
Yeah.
Hey, we love you, buddy.
For that music.
I don't know if you ever listened to the show.
And the discourse. I like to think maybe he was going through something.
Ruffled them feathers.
That's
good though. I mean, him and Red, White, and Justin definitely had it out.
Right. See, that's the thing. Real quick before we go, I always do this, but I came upon all these comments like halfway through. I guess I don't know, maybe 3/4 of the way through a fight that they were having together, and I thought they were all aimed at me. So I just went into full fucking 12-gauge sawed-off shotgun mode and started posting pictures of pedophiles and videos of pedophilia on TV shows because fuck that.
Yeah.
But I love both of you.
Yeah.
In my rainbow of friendship, you are both strong beams of color and light and energy.
That's the thing. We need discourse.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love discourse because if you can challenge the way I see the world,
help me be a better person.
As far as I'm concerned, if you can literally, and that's the thing, it doesn't happen often, but if you can change my worldview, then I respect you that much more for it.
Yeah, for real.
And even if you can't change it, if you can't change it, you're only hardening it, right?
Yeah, right.
You're only making it stronger. So I appreciate that too.
Thanks.
Even if I'm not talking about you, Ryan, by the way.
No, yeah.
But there are other cocksuckers that, they like to fucking test my metal every once in a while, and I just like to fucking cold cock them right in the mouth.
You talking about the creepy motherfucker that won't leave women alone and have to get protection orders? Or
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Cocksuckers like that?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. All right, so thank you guys for listening. I'd like to thank Ryan Simpson letting us use his music on the show. Check us out on iTunes, Facebook, motherfucker, Instagram.
Patreon if you're feeling froggy.
Checking on that Patreon, get us that.
My last interruption before we end this is to thank everybody that gave to the Bones and Tubs Computer Fund because we set a goal for 2,000. Mm-hmm. We are at 1,900.
That means we get our new computer.
And we will be putting out the dankest videos.
I wish this gun actually worked.
Bang, bang, bang. Yeah. Pow. But thank you. Thank you. We are eternally grateful. You guys are
and
amazing.
We hope you stay tuned next week, and we hope you have a good week.
Hey, we love you.